Good morning. I hereby call this meeting to order. We are also pleased to welcome Mike Patterson, former Secretary of Transportation. Welcome. And Bobby Stem, AOGC, and Paul Zachary of the City of Tulsa. Thank you. Commission Executive Assistant, please call the roll.
Mr. Boswell? Mr. Studeville?
Studeville's here.
Ms. Billy?
Here.
Mr. Freimiller?
Freimiller here.
Mr. Dyson?
Here.
Mr. Alexander?
Here.
Mr. Scott? Mr. Junk? Mr. Peterson?
Here. Commissioner Scott's here. I believe might be getting educated. So, not a slam, by the way. I think he had he had a question about change orders, so I think Mr. Leonard may be with him. Director Gatz, you're recognized to present.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Commissioners. If I might recognize Deputy Director Don Sullivan for an introduction.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman,
Good
Mr.
morning.
Commissioners. I'm pleased to announce Ms. Tara Cullum as ODOT's Director of Administration, leading the areas of HR, ITGIS, Innovation and Research, and Government and Community Affairs. Tara is a graduate of Oklahoma State University and started her career in state service in 2009 with DHS and then Oklahoma Public Retirement System before joining ODOT in 2013. Tara has served the department in several roles, most recently as the Deputy Chief Innovation Officer, leading ODOT's innovation and research efforts. She has played a pivotal role in the transportation modernization efforts, implementing process and organizational improvements across the agency. She's led several key initiatives like the First Lady Sarah Stitt's Science of Hope and represented the department in the Oklahoma DOGE efforts. She is currently chair of the Southern Plains Transportation Center Advisory Board and co-chair of the Oklahoma State Innovation Council and serves on multiple AASHTO committees. Please help me congratulate Tara Cullum.
Welcome. Okay, very good. Item 25 is approval of the minutes of the Transportation Commission meeting on February 2nd, 2026. Do I have a motion for approval of item 25?
Billy, so move.
Billy, thank you,
second.
Commissioner Billy, and second by Commissioner. And any discussion? And please cast your vote. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Consent docket contains item 26. If any commissioner would like to discuss this item, you may do so at this time. Otherwise, I'll hear a motion for approval of the consent docket.
Motion Dyson.
Thank you. And do I have a second?
Freimiller second.
Thank you. Please cast your vote. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Item 27 is engineering contracts. Mr. Hernandez, you are recognized to present.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman,
Good morning.
Commissioners. Okay, item 27 is engineering contracts. Part A is on-demand subsurface utility engineering. The department has selected 6 firms to provide contract services, and they may be used as needed in an effort to support the department's staff. The department has selected 6 firms: Bearing Tree Land Surveying, Carroll Surveying, CEC Corporation, Half Associates, Guy Engineering Services, and Universal Surveying and Mapping for a total aggregate value of $3 million. Part B is on-demand off-system bridge inspection. The department has selected 4 circuit engineering districts to provide contract services. These CEDs may be utilized on an as-needed basis in support of department staff. They are Circuit Engineering District 2, Circuit Engineering District 4, Circuit Engineering District 7, and Circuit Engineering District 8. For a total aggregate value of $3,554,200. Part C is also on-demand off-system bridge inspection. The department has selected 7 firms to provide contract services. These firms will be utilized on an as-needed basis. The department has selected Burgess & Nyepel, CEC Corporation, Consor Engineers, Garver, Guy Engineering Services, Olson, and Walter P. Moore & Associates for a total contract value of $13,577,000. Part D is in District 4, K County. This is US 60 over US 77. Project intent here is to replace the two US 60 bridges over US 77. The department has selected H.W. Lochner Incorporated to provide engineering services at a contract value of $1,169,686.34. The construction phase of this project is included in the 8-year construction work plan with a scheduled let date in federal fiscal year 2033. Part E is District 4, Noble County. This is State Highway 15. The intent here is to replace a bridge on existing alignment as well. The department has selected Olson Incorporated to provide engineering services at a contract value of $583,747.92. The construction phase of this project is included in the 8-year construction work plan with scheduled let date in federal fiscal year 2028. Federal fiscal year 2029. And Part F is District 4, Oklahoma County. This is I-35 from Fort Smith Junction at I-40 to north to I-44 junction. Project intent here is to add capacity to the roadway, geometric improvements, reconstruct and rehabilitate the existing facility, and replace bridges on existing alignment. So this will add capacity, widen bridges, and geometry improvements as well. The department has selected Poe & Associates Incorporated to provide engineering services at a contract value of $5,416,282.26. Construction phase of this project is included in the 8-year construction work plan with scheduled let date in federal fiscal year 2033. Part G, this is also District 4, Oklahoma County. This is I-44 from the State Highway 74 junction east to I-235 junction. Project intent here is to reconstruct and rehabilitate the existing facility, and as well as look at ramp improvements. The department has chosen Garver LLC to provide engineering services at a contract value of $3,199,566.68. Construction phase of this project is included in the 8-year construction work plan with scheduled let date in federal fiscal year 2033. And that concludes the engineering contracts. I'd be happy to take any questions you might have.
I'm just curious, in B here, the on-demand off-system bridge inspections, what determines whether we do it or we have outside contractors do it?
So these are generally handled by the ODOT doesn't inspect these. We contract this out. These circuit engineering districts are cooperatives, so they can join forces, pool resources, and go out and provide engineering services. So they do a number of these inspections. There's about 16,000 off-system bridges. They go out and inspect county bridges. Whatever's left over, we contract out to consultants. So that's the remainder there in Part C.
Okay, all right, interesting. You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 27?
Make a motion to accept.
Thank you. In a second?
Second, Scott.
Thank you. Any discussion? Please cast your vote. Motion passes. Item 28 is engineering contract supplements. Mr. Hernandez, you are recognized to continue.
Thank you. Part A is on-demand environmental services for local government projects. This is the first supplement. The department has previously selected CC Environmental, C.H. Guernsey and Company, Garver LLC, Hudson Prince Engineering and Inspection, Kimley Horn and Associates, Kleinfelder, and Olson Incorporated. Total aggregate increase for these contracts is $2,100,000. Part B is District 3 in Cole County. This is US 75 over Black Creek. The project intent here is to replace the bridge on existing alignment. The department has previously selected H&TB Corporation to provide engineering services. This is their second supplement at a value of $70,216. The construction phase of this project is included in the 8-year construction work plan with the scheduled let date, federal fiscal year 2028. Part C is in District 3. This is Garvin County, State Highway 29. Project intent here is to add shoulders to a 2-lane highway and reconstruct and rehabilitate the existing facility. The department has previously selected C.H. Guernsey and Company to provide services, and this is their first supplement at a value of $18,786.60. Construction phase of this project is included in the 8-year construction work plan with the scheduled let date in federal fiscal year 2032. Part 3 is in Lincoln County. This is State Highway 66 over the SLWC Railroad in Chandler. Intent here is to replace bridge on existing alignment. The department has previously selected CP&Y to provide engineering services. This is their first supplement at a value of $100,600. And the construction phase of this project is included in the 8-year construction work plan with scheduled let date, federal fiscal year 2029. That concludes the engineering contract supplements, and I'd be happy to take any questions you might have.
You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 28?
Billy, so move.
Thank you. And do we have a second?
Second, Alexander.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Motion passes. Thank you very much, Mr. Hernandez. And you're going to continue with item 29, the project status of the Roosevelt Bridge. It's for information only.
Right, this is for
Please.
information only. Sorry to interrupt.
Nope, not at all.
I'm not asking for any approval here, just giving a preview of what we intend to bring next month. If you recall, in September of 2025, we released a request for qualifications for prospective design build teams who are interested in providing design and construction services to replace the Roosevelt Bridge. We invited them to submit their qualifications. We got 5 submittals. From then, we evaluated and scored them and selected the 3 highest scoring submittals, which we brought to you in November. And you approved for us to enter into contract with those 3 teams, and we've been working with them, collaborating them from November basically to mid-February. They're set to provide us the their technical request to continue this week, actually Wednesday. So that's going to be their scope, their schedule, how they intend to go about designing and building this project, everything but the price. So we're going to evaluate that technical portion of the request to continue packages from the time we get them Wednesday until about March 17th and determine kind of a preliminary scoring based on the technical portions. On the 18th, they're going to submit their project guaranteed maximum price. So we're going to take that, enter that into the rubric, and by the 19th, we should have final scoring, and we plan on bringing you the highest scoring team to the April commission to request we continue contract with that team to provide engineering and construction services. Just want to stress, this bridge, about 2.5 years ago, we had an emergency project to repair some structural items. Last year, of course, we had the causeway repair that was an emergency. Not an unsafe bridge, but certainly the reliability could use, quite a bolstering. And to be able to get to construction as quickly as we're going to be able to with this procurement method is a huge advantage. We intend to start turning dirt on this project later this year, and this is just going to be an incredible process. Appreciate your support on that. Again, that was just for information only, not looking for an approval, but preview of next month.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Hernandez.
Thank you.
Item 30 is change orders with cumulative total of $150,000 or less. This is for information only. Mr. Leonard, you are recognized to present.
Morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Yes, I'd like to present item 30, parts A through double C. These are change orders on projects which have a cumulative total of change orders of $150,000 or less. This is presented for your information only, no action is necessary, but I'd certainly be glad to answer any questions.
If there are no questions, Mr. Leonard, you're recognized to continue. Item 31, change orders with cumulative total greater than $150,000.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, item 31, parts A through U. These are change orders on projects which have a cumulative total of change orders of greater than $150,000. Your approval is recommended, and I'd be glad to answer any questions.
You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 31?
Motion Dyson.
Thank you. And do I have a second?
Second Scott.
All right. Any discussion? Commissioner Scott?
Second.
Yeah, no discussion?
No,
Okay, very good. Thank you.
not at this time.
Please cast your vote. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Thank you. Item 32 is claim for additional payment. Mr. Davis, you're recognized to present.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Commissioners. Item 32 is claim for additional payment. This is going to be out of District 1, Wagner County, with Frontier Bridge Incorporated. This bridge replacement contract, located on US 69 over the Union Pacific Railroad in Wagner County, was awarded by the Oklahoma Transportation Commission on September 11th, 2023, in the amount of $11,790,918.43, with an expected contract duration of 490 calendar days. During construction, it was determined by the Union Pacific Railroad that the accepted beam lifting plan would require a more effort-intense lift operation than the contractor anticipated at the time of bid. In order to reduce the amount of time the beams are suspended over the active Union Pacific Railroad tracks, 2 large cranes will be required to lift multiple beam lines simultaneously. This change order will compensate the contractor for the additional labor, equipment, and site preparation necessary to effectively perform the beam lift operations. In addition, this change order will provide compensation for the negotiated settlement of all project delays and associated pay item cost. These costs, along with those from previously approved change orders, has caused the contract to exceed the statutory limit of 10% on new items of $1 million or more. The entitlement to this claim is recognized by the department, and it is requested that the Transportation Commission authorize a settlement in the amount of $1,303,659.92. Approval is recommended, and I'd be happy to try to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, thank you. You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 32?
I make a motion to accept.
Thank you. And do I have a second?
Second, Dyson.
Any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Motion passes. Thank you very much, Mr. Davis. Item 33 is Oklahoma Port Infrastructure Revolving Fund. Mr. Swenison, you are recognized to present.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. Thanks for the opportunity to bring this first of its kind Oklahoma Port Infrastructure Revolving Fund to you. It's a brand new program. We're excited for it to happen to help ports out. The Oklahoma Port Infrastructure Revolving Fund, 82 Oklahoma Statute Section 1141, is an emergency grant and loan program for funding qualified projects. A qualified project enhances the safety and efficient operations of the McClellan-Kerr Arkansas River Navigation System, known as the MCARNS. A qualified project may also repair, improve, or construct a waterway or industrial park infrastructure located at or within a waterway port of Oklahoma that is determined to provide a public benefit. The Waterways Advisory Board reviewed, evaluated, and advised on all eligible applications. The department recommends awarding the Oklahoma Port Infrastructure Revolving Fund grant in the amount of $3,240,000. These awards will help 2 ports achieve safe, efficient operations of the waterways. Item A is going to be District 1, Muskogee County. Within the waterways of the MCARNS at the Port Muskogee, the Barge Safety and Efficiency Improvement Project at the Port Muskogee will remove and replace 19 mooring dolphins with 6-foot diameter steel monotube mooring structures. Mooring dolphins are used to tie vessels for operations and emergencies. A grant award of $1.62 million is recommended as matching funds for federal grant applications. Item B, District 8, Rogers County. At the Port of Catoosa, owned and operated by Tulsa Ports, the Mainline Harbor Conveyor Project is one of 6 major phases of a large unit train facility project being developed at the Tulsa Ports of Catoosa. 4 new unload hoppers will be constructed in new pits, and a new conveyor will be installed to connect the waterways to the industrial track within the port. The conveyor enhances the connectivity between the rail and barge. A grant award of $1.62 million is recommended for the construction project. Your approval is recommended. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you. You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 33?
Motion, Studeville.
Thank you, Commissioner Studeville. And do I have a second?
Second, Alexander.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Item 34 is proposed bid openings. Ms. Bryant, you are recognized to present.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Item 34, proposed bid openings, consist of the final April 2026, the tentative May 2026, and the tentative June 2026 bid openings. The department recommends approval.
You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 34?
Motion, Billy.
Thank you. And a second?
Second, Dyson.
Thank you. And any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Motion passes. Thank you, Ms. Bryant. Item 35 is awards. Mr. Goka, you are recognized to present.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Item 35 is the awards from the February bid openings. It will be in two parts. Part A is from the February 12th regular bid opening. It is recommended that the following items from the February 12th, 2026 bid opening referred to by call order be awarded. 100, 105, 110, 115, 120, 125, 130, 135, 140, 141, 145, 150, 160, and 165. It is recommended that the following items from the February 12th, 2026 bid opening referred to by call order be rejected. Call order 142 in lieu of the parts of the optional tie. Part B is from the February 19th regular bid opening. It is recommended that the following items from the February 19th regular bid opening referred to by call order be awarded. 205, 208, 210, 215, 220, 223, 225, 230, 235, 245, 250, and 255. This concludes the recommendations, and your approval is requested.
Thank you. You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 35?
Motion, Dyson.
Thank you. And do I have a second?
Second, Scott.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Goka. Item 38 is the director's report. This is for information only. Director Gatz, you are recognized to present. Skip right through this.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, certainly want to acknowledge Tara's Cullum's selection as the Director of Administration. She's going to do us a great job. Tara has really helped us through some challenges, with the modernization efforts that we had. Certainly, she's been a lead on innovation and research and has done a tremendous job. So I want to welcome her to that position. Our something that's majorly on everybody's radar right now is wildfires. As you're aware, in District 6, we had about 310,000 acres that were burned over the course of the last month. And just kind of as a reminder, want to remind everybody that something as simple as pulling your vehicle into a grassy area right now can start a wildfire. So we want everybody to be extra cautious and careful. Dragging a safety chain on a trailer can generate enough spark activity that can cause a roadside wildfire that can lead to something much, much larger. Especially when we have the high-risk days with low humidities and high winds. So we just want to remind everybody to be extremely cautious, limit activities that potentially could result in a wildfire, and we do that with our own forces. That includes welding and grinding and anything that can generate an opportunity to even start to have a fire. So just want to put that front and center with the traveling public and with our employees. We want to certainly take that into grave consideration right now because, until we get green up and some springtime rains, pretty much statewide, we're going to have some challenges ahead of us. So, Justin, I appreciate the recap of the Roosevelt that he provided. Just to add to that again, our target is April the 6th to bring you a recommendation. And really looking forward to a successful process. Just as Justin pointed out, between the bridge structure itself and that causeway, it is long overdue in time that we provide a new crossing opportunity for Lake Texoma at that location. So we're looking forward to having a successful project there. Talk just a minute about reauthorization of the federal highway bill. Don Sullivan and Caitlin Burns and myself spent most of last week at the AASHTO legislative briefing in Washington, D.C. Most of the conversation there was around the reauthorization. I'll remind you the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act expires this year. So the Congress is in the process of developing the new highway bill that will pick up in '27, and most of our bills are 5 years in length. We will be talking about that between now and the end of September, when Infrastructure Investment Jobs Act actually expires. We will keep the commission posted with those developments. There will be some level of policy change in the next bill, but the all-consuming factor is going to be funding. And again, whether or not the baseline investment levels that were set in the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act are sustainable for the next highway bill. So again, that's something we're watching very closely. We will start to learn more about what the Congress is thinking over the coming months, and we will definitely keep the commission posted to what's going on with the reauthorization efforts. I want to talk just for a minute about I-40 and the Douglas interchange and the project that we had that widened I-40 out to about Choctaw Road. First and foremost, I want to thank the communities, Oklahoma City, Midwest City, and all of the traveling public who's been being very careful through a complicated construction zone. But we are excited to announce that on March the 11th at 2 p.m., we're going to cut a ribbon on this particular interchange location. The significance of that is it is named for Senator Jim Inhofe. And Senator Inhofe was able to be there when we broke ground on this project. And again, as far as his engagement and involvement with both transportation in Oklahoma and then the armed services and defense, there couldn't be a more appropriate location to bear his name. So we're excited to get this project opened. It was the largest dollar highway construction contract in ODOT history at the time that construction began in 2023. It's a single point urban interchange. Again, those interchanges are designed to move a high volume of traffic, both in anticipation of the higher and growing traffic volumes in the area, but also at some point Douglas Boulevard becoming more of a primary entrance into the Tinker proper. So very timely investment, and it's certainly important to recognize that Senator Inhofe was also able to really assist in getting a $51 million discretionary infra grant of federal funding that helped make that project possible at the scale we were able to accomplish it. Otherwise, we would have had to have separated that project into several phases, and the inconvenience to the traveling public would have been much longer in duration. So again, we're grateful for that project, looking forward to having a good ribbon cutting on March the 11th. Similarly, Route 66 at Wellston, last year the Route 66 Centennial Commission hosted the first Mother Road Summit in Albuquerque. And the United States Route 66 Centennial Commission is a commission that I have a seat on as a Governor Stitt appointee. And that commission meets regularly, and this is going to be one of our in-person meetings. We do a lot of virtual meetings, but this one will be in person. We're going to host here in Oklahoma City at the History Center for the summit itself. But in conjunction with that summit, on day one, we're going to have a ribbon cutting there at Wellston. The Turnpike Authority reconstructed the bridge over Route 66 at that location. In conjunction with that project, we were able to make some significant improvements to Route 66 through the Wellston proper. So we're going to cut a ceremonial ribbon on the success of that project, which is now substantially complete. But in addition, there's going to be a Route 66 plaza there with some pretty special artwork. And so we're going to have a really good ribbon cutting out there on April the 23rd, morning of. And then the Route 66 Summit, Day 2, will feature Lieutenant Governor Pennell, followed by a day of Route 66 centric inspirational type discussions. The theme of the summit is going to be what's next. So looking forward to the next 100 years. And, you know, there's going to be a tremendous amount of momentum going into this centennial year, but that's going to carry forward. You know, Route 66 is such an iconic route, not just in Oklahoma, but around the country. So just wanted to keep you advised of that. This is the beginning, springtime. We're going to start to see these Route 66 centric events ramp up. If you're interested in following those, there is an events calendar on travelok.com on their Travel and Tourism's website, and they're going to do a good job of keeping everybody advised of the big events. One thing of special note, we are working with FHWA Administrator Sean McMaster, who has declared his intent to attend our ribbon cutting. So it'll be great to have Administrator McMaster in town with us, and we look forward to his presence here, not just around Route 66, but to show him some of the things Oklahoma is doing that we're extremely proud of. So, on a major project front, State Highway 152 Airport Road that really encompasses I-44, 152, and the airport road proper. That project, with the exception of some overhead sign structure work, is substantially complete. So the public is going to see a much easier drive through that section. Once again, some very tough travel conditions while this project was under construction. We appreciate the partnership of the traveling public and their patience with us while we made some pretty major improvements. And we have significantly enhanced the function of that interchange proper area, Highway 152, I-40, 59th Street, and then on around the corner as you progress southwest on I-44. So lots of great improvements there. Looking forward to continuing the work in that corridor, and major investment. And again, focused on congestion, enhancing safety, and making those long-term investments in our metropolitan area infrastructure that we're going to need to service over the years to come. Some projects that are coming up, US 59 in Delaware County, that's going to widen US 59 to 4 and 5 lanes between Jay and Grove in the Grand Lake area. That's going to include some safety modifications to address some sight distance and access issues. About more than a $35 million contract, and the department set about to enhance and improve that section with a 2-lane project. This corridor is right at the top of the traffic volume that needs to have more capacity than just a 2-lane. We could not put together the resources to be able to get that done. The reason that we're doing this to 4 and 5 lanes is because a tribal partner, Cherokee Nation, came forward. We were able to work together in partnership and secure a $35 million or $32 million federal infra grant for the project. And again, I'll tell you, without the assistance of the Cherokee Nation and having that fellowship in this particular project, there's no way we could have built this to what it's going to be. This will serve that area in a super high growth area of travel and tourism especially, very well for the long term, and it'll be a much safer facility with that added capacity and turn lanes than what it would have otherwise. So again, want to recognize the Cherokee Nation and their contribution to that particular corridor. And we're going to end up with a much, much better project there when we're completed, which we're going to start in July. Going to last about 18 months for construction. So again, we'll end up with a really good project when we're complete there. Orange barrel season is coming. You know what that translates to is this month we appreciate your award of $18 million. Across 9 projects, and that's going to improve about 90 miles of pavement condition. Asset preservation is extremely critical in our investment strategy. That ensures we can get the full life cycle out of our pavements primarily. We also have some bridge rehabilitations that get rolled up into that. That is all about life cycle. And when you consider the impact that the winter storms have had this year on some of our life cycle initiatives around pavement, these are important projects. This year in the asset preservation plan, we've got about 40 projects scheduled for about $82 million. And that will allow us to touch about 490 miles of pavements that are in fair to poor condition. So we've got to continue to make sure we're taking care of that life cycle, and these are the right projects at the right time. So, but we're going to once again ask for the patience of the traveling public while we get these done over the summer construction season. I want to talk just for a moment about work zones and work zone safety. I'm teasing April a little bit because April is Work Zone Safety Awareness Month, but you know, the number of work zones as we go into springtime is going to increase across the state. We have seen an ongoing increase in crashes within our work zone lately. In 2023 in Oklahoma alone, there were 33 fatalities in work zones, and that was up 106% from 2022. When you really look at work zone safety awareness across the nation, 900 fatalities, 818 crashes. And I think you can really sum this up in excessive speed is what we're seeing as a primary cause of these. It's rare to see anybody observe the black and white posted speed limit. A lot of times when you're driving through some of our work zones, if you are observing the speed limit, it is almost like you're an impediment to everybody else, creating a very dangerous condition. And we need everybody to slow down. The other factor that is factoring into almost everything we do is distraction. We have got to alter some behaviors in our traveling public. We've got to get everybody to slow down and pay attention to what's in front of them. Between the department and the Turnpike Authority, not only behind orange barrels, but our maintenance operations that are happening on the shoulder of the roadway, where we've got individuals out there that are trying to keep everybody safe, clear debris off of the highway, take care of business out there every day. We've had several trucks that were hit while they were parked on the shoulder under full lights, and the state of Oklahoma has a slow down and move over law in place, but were struck by a vehicle that drifted onto the shoulder. Thank goodness, no fatalities, but serious injuries, and it's something we've all got to work together around just to continue to message this and how critical it is. And it's really just as much as we're worried about our personnel and our contractor partners' personnels in these work zones, we're worried about the traveling public, and we have got to get them to slow down. So again, that's something you're going to continue to hear me talk about, and it's something that we've got to get focused on, and we've got to use every tool in the toolbox to try to make work zones safer. So we're going to continue those efforts. Again, next month we really are going to kick off Work Zone Safety Awareness Week, and we're going to have a campaign with some events statewide, and again bring attention to speed, distracted driving, and you know, the other thing that you often hear me talk about is seatbelt usage. Our 2025 seatbelt numbers, about 85.3% of Oklahomans buckle up based on our surveys, and to get to the national average, you got to be above 90%. To get into the top 10 in the country, you got to be above about 94%. And for some reason, Oklahoma hovers right there around that 85 or 86%. And we can do better. You know, a lot of that's a reflection of our rural nature as a state, and we see the highest occurrence of unrestrained driving in pickups and on local and rural roads. And again, that's also where we see our highest severe injury and fatality rates. About 49% of all fatalities that occur are unrestrained. So we've got to continue to message that. And, you know, these are behavioral issues that we have got to continue to keep at the forefront and try to provide information and try to provide some motivation for change for the future. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I would stand for any questions that the Transportation Commission may have of me and appreciate the opportunity to visit with you this morning.
Thank you. Do commissioners have any questions or comments?
I have a comment. I would just like to thank all the other divisions across the state for helping Division 6 with the wildfires. We had people come from everywhere out to Division 6, and thank all you division engineers and everybody that's helped so much. It was greatly appreciated.
Thank you, Commissioner. Absolutely, and again, the ODOT team responds in support wherever needed, and will always provide assistance and aid where we can.
Thank you very much.
Certainly, what was going on out in the District 6 area was extremely scary. Woodward, especially in the Woodward proper, where you have a high population area that was just barely skirted by a pretty significant fire. I think that had us all worried for Woodward. A lot of prayers went up around keeping those folks safe, and we appreciate that recognition, Commissioner.
All right, thank you, Director Gatz. If commissioners have no other comments, then I hear a motion for item 37, which is adjournment.
Motion, Scott?
Thank you, and do I have a second?
Second, Dyson.
Thank you. Please cast your vote. Motion passes. We are adjourned.